So I wanted to respond to Paramystical's question about what's the role of expectations, and I again am looking at Lee Thayer's book Pieces from his essay called Explanation is Motive, and it is very clear that expectations are one of the main issues when we start to think about how explanation serves as a motive. In fact, what we can expect is what's self-explanatory, and whatever would violate expectations is very likely to require an explanation. And I wanted to clarify this a little bit. I think in some of the other videos, if people had watched the other videos in there, I've been trying to suggest that what motivates behavior isn't something outside of us per se, and it's not something inside us per se. It has to do with the communication linkages and the communication structures that we're in, and in particular the role of explanation. That is, explanation motivates why people do what they do. People have a tendency to do what is self-explanatory, or people have a tendency to need an explanation to do something that's not self-explanatory, or people will just simply not do what they can't explain. Now, I suggested before, and I would still maintain that oftentimes high-performance people, high-performance organizations, they thrive in atmospheres that say no excuses and there's no explanation that's acceptable for defaulting oneself or having failed one's duties. There is a balance here. I think that Paramystical's point here is really well taken in that you want to have very high expectations in order to get things done. You have to say, all right, here's the expectation around here, and here are the rules, and here's what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, especially when you're laying down the communicative structure, right, the sort of ongoing framework that will be what is explanatory and what's not explanatory. But you also want to be flexible. You want to be able to have no expectations in your experience, because the less that you can have expectations, maybe the richer your experiences are. So I mean, I think part of the task is to demand much from oneself, to work really hard, but to see if the whole time through you can have very little expectations. Now, one of the ways that I didn't address high performance, which maybe I think was in those previous videos but wasn't addressed enough. I mean, this is very difficult. We're working in less than 10-minute context. But that said, I think what I want to do is just to read one little passage here from Thayer's essay, and this may really help to drive some of this home, especially when we start to look at high performance. What would it take to become a high performance person? What would it take to have a high performance organization? I think one of the first things that we discover is that high performance people have a tendency to surround themselves with other high performance people. Otherwise, they have to keep explaining themselves, right? And so here's what Thayer writes. He says, most students are average in school not because capacities to perform in school is distributed along some bell curve. It's because it's far easier to develop the habits that make one average than those that would make one superior or outstanding. A commitment to that set of habits would require an explanation to one's peers. And what might that be? That I don't intend to be like you people and end up with an average life? Is it likely that these people will continue to be my friends? Where am I until I have been accepted by that other, smaller peer group, those few who are nurturing a quite different set of habits? Yeah, habit is a key issue here that Thayer's talking about there, but ultimately he is talking about how high performance people, oftentimes they may struggle to be high performance because they're going to need to come up with an explanation for why they're so high performance. I think you can see this in drug circles, or in people who are trying to quit drinking or quit smoking cigarettes, right? If a person smokes cigarettes and all their friends smoke cigarettes, and this person decides to quit smoking, half of the struggle may be how they're going to explain to themselves and to their friends why they're not doing it. Right? Developing capacities of competence may require someone who learns how to strategically tell the explanation. If you want to be a rate buster, if you want to really become a high performance person, it's not that your friends are going to drag you down, it's that they may want an explanation for why you're working so hard. Say you wanted to really increase your vocabulary and you decided that you were going to every day start tearing several pages of the dictionary right out of the dictionary, and you were going to carry those pages around with you and learn those. My guess is your friends would start to say, "Why are you doing that?" Right? There's a line by Geiger where he says, "Being confirmed by others frees me from being responsible for the absurdity of my belief." I think oftentimes we struggle if we don't have confirmation from those others around us. And so if we're not going to have some sort of immediate confirmation, right, because walking around reading from the dictionary doesn't really make sense, you may have to be able to be creative in coming up with a story. You may have to say, "Oh, I'm really excited. I'm getting to take the graduate record examination and I'm going to go off to graduate school so I can go do some great things with the world." Imagine if you were to walk up to someone and you were going to tell them that you're now doing what you're doing because you want to be a great human being. I think there are some people who would say that sounds stupid. What are you talking about? There is no such thing as a great human being. We're all just equally putting our pants on in the morning, or we're all equally at whatever we are. We're just animals who die. I think that that's true. I think we all are just animals who die. But I do think there are some people who are struggling for greatness, and I think that that struggle for greatness is going to be one where you're going to take your lumps because you're going to have to stand outside of what's normal. And to do that, you're either going to have to create a system of no explanations and be surrounded by that, or you're going to have to be, almost like Kramer from Seinfeld, so crazy that you can do what is deviant and people just come to accept it. I think many people, if you really want to think for yourself, whatever that means, if you want to use that cliche, you really want to have a mind worth wanting, you're going to have to be crazy, or at least you're going to have to find the places to make your craziness, your willingness to be different, accepted. And so we're back to this issue of expectations. What could you do to create a system of expectations so that people are willing to see high performance as self-explanatory? Because my guess is, if you show up to class, try this one on if you're a student. Show up to class with your homework done, and when the professor says, "Is your homework done?" say, "Oh yes, not only have I done the homework, but I've outlined it in 2 different color pens to make what the author wanted to claim and then what my reactions, what I wanted to pick apart on, and I've also read some supplementary material." My guess is the other people in the room will go, "What the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this?" They'll ask you why you're acting that way. But if you show up and you say, "Well, I don't know. Yeah, I read it, but I don't know. It's boring and da 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 da," you get to be cool, and no one will ask you to explain yourself. I think in just most circles. Now, that's certainly not the case, right? We have great students where I'm at, and I think there it's more self-explanatory to do your homework than not to do your homework. But you can sort of tell that, right? You can tell the kind of school that you're at by what is self-explanatory. Is it self-explanatory? Is it the expectation is that you've done the homework and you've done more than the homework and now you're doing supplementary stuff? Or is it that begrudgingly you did the homework? Or is it more self-explanatory to show up and go, "I didn't read it. Who reads the stuff? I don't think anybody really reads it. I guess I could have read it, but I have too many other things, like, my favorite television show was on. Da, da, da." When you watch people give their explanations to end up with the lives that they have, it makes good sense, right? That many people, I guess, unfortunately, for good or ill, they're going to end up with the lives that those around them sort of accept by way of their explanations. The task is to surround yourself with high-performance people who demand the best, or if you can't do that, you're going to have to be crazy enough to be able to come up with some explanations that help people still allow you to fit in, despite being crazy by all other outward senses, and you're going to have to violate their expectations and still have that be able to make sense. Okay, thanks.